Jai Sri Ram, friends. Welcome to Bharat Marg. Welcome Vinay ji. Thank you for joining Bharat Marg. Friends, आज हम बात करेंगे. We will discuss about the news, big news. 41 Canadian diplomats, along with their 42 dependents, get out of India. They couldn't take it no more, and India gave the ultimatum, and we will discuss about it. Why India kicked out the Canadian diplomats. We will discuss about it. And before going further, friends, I want to say you, Vinay ji covered this. If you didn't, you had to see go to our Canada news and see it. Okay, we told how the immunity will go for these guys and have no option but go. Okay, we exposed this from the internal sources, and also we said how the Punjab consulate is going to close down, Canadian consulate. But the thing is, they are going to close almost all the in-person service in all the Canadian consulates. We will discuss about it. This also you will see Vinay ji covering in our videos. You can go and check it out. And how this, in the whole thing, the winner is the Trudeau's ego, and the loser is Canada and Canadians. Okay, how this is going to impact a huge way and add on to already struggling Canada and Canadian market. We will discuss about that also, the impact of this on Canada. Okay, let's discuss about it. But before going further, please make sure to like the video, comment on the video, share the video. Friends, if you want Canada news, anything to do with Canada-Indian relations, etc., Bharat Marg is the best place for you to see. And always we have Vinay ji covering on those issues. Okay, we have a separate playlist for you by name Canada News, where you will be able to check it out, all those things. Because, what is going to happen for the immigration sector of Canada. We will discuss about that, and also the student business. Friends, also make sure to subscribe the channel if you didn't already, and press on the notification bell to make sure that you get notified as we go live. Okay, so that you can ask any questions, and you can also give your feedback. And make sure to send a WhatsApp to +16479644790 to get our message. On every day our message comes on the Sanatan Dharma for you and your family to stay connected along with the roots of the Sanatan Dharma. And also do know that we have a real Sikh history untold, the documentary from Bharat Marg. Friends, make sure to know that we are not covering that thing what already told. We are covering only exclusively untold. Make sure to subscribe by sending a WhatsApp to, and you have the WhatsApp number here, and make sure to send it out and stay connected, folks. Okay, Vinay ji, welcome. Thank you. What a fantastic job. Whatever your predictions are, 100% dot on. Okay, please now let me go ahead and show you. What did you say? And the diplomats, India kicks out the diplomats, Canadian diplomats. Okay, it's a big thing. Okay, and but what is that Trudeau and his media are hiding? Why did they kick out? Because India clearly, even in today's statement, says they have been interfering in the internal matters, and they know. Okay, do they know, Vinay ji, that beyond going after 20, they may be arrested, that for their illegal activities like human trafficking, sex trafficking, and what else was happening from there. We'll love to discuss about that too. But anyway, thank you. Please come on in, and platform is yours, Vinay ji.
Yeah, thank you. So I think last week or a week and a half ago, we had covered this particular topic, and I had mentioned in that you'd asked me a question like, what if the 41 diplomats don't leave India? That was your question. What are the consequences, right? So I had told you that the consequences could be pretty severe, because the most important thing is, these are diplomats, Canadian diplomats, who enjoy diplomatic immunity they have a diplomatic passport, and the Indian government had given them a deadline of October 10th. Okay. And you told me that, oh, it's about 3-4 days or 5 days past the deadline. So how come these guys have not left? We have come to know that they're still sticking around in India, and life is going normal for them and stuff like that. I said, no, that's not going to happen, because the Indian government has not yet reacted. But once they react, their diplomatic immunity is going to be stripped, and obviously they'll have to change their visa status to an ordinary citizen, and all this stuff that I'd given that information last time. And that's exactly what happened. So if you read Melanie Joly's statement, she basically said that 41 of Canada's 62 diplomats in India have been removed, along with their dependents. And Joly said exceptions have been made for 21 Canadian diplomats who will remain in India, and 41 Canadian diplomats and their 42 dependents were in danger of having their immunity stripped on an arbitrary date, and this would put their personal safety at risk. So our diplomats and their families have now left India. So basically, she said that removing diplomatic immunity is not only unprecedented, but contrary to international law, and said for that reason, Canada wouldn't threaten to do the same thing with Indian diplomats. A unilateral revocation of the diplomatic privilege and immunity is contrary to international law and a clear violation of the Geneva Convention on Diplomatic Relations. Threatening to do so is unreasonable and escalatory. But what she doesn't have information about, or maybe she didn't study this in her school, and I'm not sure what her education is, what her background is. Maybe she should research and do some more stuff on Geneva Convention, because Geneva Convention clearly states if a diplomatic mission in any country has violated certain norms, the hosting country has the authority to remove those diplomats. Simple and clear.
Absolutely. Vinayji, it's as simple as this, like what you said. If you are my guest at my home, you better behave right.
Exactly. That's what it is. So if your guest is not behaving properly, if they're involved in certain illegal activities, certain spying, or who knows what, there could be multiple reasons why these guys are they're doing stuff that is contrary to the international laws and Geneva Convention and whatever she's quoting, then the host country has the right to kick them out. Simple.
Absolutely.
So the other thing, I'll also go further. I'll just one step further. India's so Joly said India's decision will also impact the level of services to citizens of both countries. She said Canada is pausing in-person services in Chandigarh, Mumbai, and Bangalore. There you go.
Right. And absolutely, I had the video. I still have video of it, but I am not going to play it because you went in detail on this. Okay, so Melanie Joly's video, I'm not going to play it for that reason. But see here, this is what she has said, that it is unconstitutional, etc., like what you exactly said, Vinayji. And this is the response from the Indian government. Okay, Modi government. New India slams Canada's response on diplomatic departure. MEA said the reduction was necessitated due to Canada's continued interference in India's internal matter. India accused Justin Trudeau government of maintaining much higher number of diplomats in India. India said the action is in very well line with the Geneva Convention or Vienna Convention. Okay,
exactly. So basically India's Ministry of External Affairs Ministry spokesperson Arindan Bakshi had previously called for a reduction in Canadian diplomats in India, saying they outnumbered India's staffing in Canada. So India is a much like at about 100 times bigger than Canada. Okay, approximately. Probably not 100 times, about 30 times. Okay, so so now you can imagine 30 times bigger, and India has only about 20 or 21 diplomats in Canada. But Canada, which is a much smaller country, has 62 diplomats in had 62 diplomats in India. So that doesn't really kind of
Why?
well. Number one. Number two, he also said that these people were involved in certain activities, and and that doesn't go well with the Geneva Convention, and basically, it violates the whole principle of diplomacy and stuff like that. Because what's happening in this, in today's day and age, is countries are sending. If there are 62 diplomats, for example, right? The bulk of them, okay, the majority of them, more than 50%, are actually spies who are representing Canada, or that, for example, I mean, for could be a guest country, right? And now the whole
See here, absolutely, Vinayji. See here, okay, how Canada and Canadian politicians were openly involved in farmer protest and Shahinbag protest, and how it's unbelievable, and the money was laundered from here, and the money was unbelievable, and the temple destroyed, hate crimes high, in either way. One is the internal this thing, you saw this, right?
Mhm.
See, basically how they fueled the farmers protest and Shahin Bagh protest is this is what I hear from the sources of India.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, like the thing is, Canada has always interfered in India's affairs because Canada is unfortunately a puppet government. Okay, they're in the hands of the NDP, which is led by the guy I'm talking about.
Jag, Jagmeet Singh, and
I don't
whose
even want to say his
passport is
name.
banned. He cannot
I
get
don't
into
even.
India.
Yeah,
He is the only leader in the world whose passport is banned in India.
unfortunately, and the
And
funny
he
thing is,
leads the terrorist of Canada.
God forbid, if he becomes the Prime Minister of Canada, it'll be the first, unprecedented, like what she said. It'll be unprecedented in the history of any country where a leader has been banned to enter another country. I mean, like, I'm talking a democratic country. I'm not talking about North Korea and stuff like that. But this is the unfortunate part. So anyways, the Trudeau
Yeah, when
government.
you are talking that, okay, I will show you a post which I'll make it into the bigger screen for the people to see it. Vinayji, this is what the bus, okay, which is run by the disciples of Jagmeet Singh, okay, the terror gangs. In an embarrassment to Modi, India's deadline on Canada to remove 41 diplomats have passed without Canada complying. One Canadian official said in Ottawa had not withdrawn any diplomats ahead of the deadline. If India is a law-abiding nation, it will respect the term of Vienna Convention and act accordingly. Canada has many diplomats in India because the visa demands. Come on, who determines whose demand? Who need to
There
be
is no
there,
visa
Vinayji?
demand. It's all people are completely enthralled by the Canadian system and stuff like that. But we have heard of the horror stories of students who come into Canada, and the
Mhm.
suffering they go through, and the suicides that they have, and the killings and whatever that's been happening with the Canadian. I mean, the students, Indian students coming into Canada. So Canada is not all hunky dory in any which way, right? There are a lot of problems here, but people don't understand this, and they paint a fantastic rosy picture about Canada, but that's not true.
But
Yeah.
Vinayji, so much of human trafficking happened from Punjab. Do you
Oh
think
yeah,
it could have
absolutely.
happened
I mean, like
without these guys
yeah, absolutely. I mean,
under their nose?
Yeah, we did a little probably about a year ago. We had done a story on NGOs in Canada who are actually providing shelter to these victims of human trafficking. And I don't know if you
Right,
recall that. I'm pretty sure you do. And you and I had done a show on this. And it was
right,
unfortunate that things have been like that, and things have not improved. It's actually only deteriorating, and it's on this declining slide actually. And now the relationship, going back to this diplomatic eviction, right? I just about a week ago, you showed me an article where some of the local newspapers that are pro Khalistani, pro whatever, these guys were making a mockery of India, and they said, "Oh, what can India do?" The diplomats have
this
decided
is
to
the
quit.
guy I'm
The
talking about.
deadline,
This is the guy.
yeah, the deadline has passed, and nothing. Well, India cannot do anything, and blah blah blah, and stuff like that. Exactly what you're just showing right there on your screen. And so, Mister Whoever, please understand that this is
Yeah,
not the
funny
old
thing. See
India.
here, Vinayji, funny
Uh,
thing. These the ones who are holding the can for Pakistanis. They are writing. Canada is also challenging India's math on how many diplomats it has in Canada.
uh-huh.
You know,
So
India
basically,
claims to
they
have
they
20.
questioned that they said that, oh, India has a lot more diplomats. They've only they've declared so many diplomats, but it's actually there are people who are living here illegally, diplomats. But you know what? You can't do that. I mean, my friend, you have not read Vienna Convention, Geneva Convention, whatever. So you don't understand
Come on. You are
the
saying the
intricacies
foreign
of this.
minister of Canada that she doesn't understand.
Yeah, she's the foreign minister and she doesn't understand the laws. I mean, these guys become ministers because they have absolutely no background in anything, and they just become foreign minister or whatever, health minister, and just because they're close to the prime minister or whoever. I mean, this is the unfortunate part. The way things work, a diplomat cannot live in a country, in a hosting country, without presenting his credentials to the head of the government. In this case, the governor general. They present the governor general in Canada, their credentials, and they get diplomatic immunity after that. And that's how things are. So only 21 people have had that privilege from India, and they can't just say that arbitrarily that there are more diplomats living in Canada, Indian diplomats.
And
How
also
does that work?
what I am hearing is something astonishing. Indian government removed all others visas except the chosen 21. That means whomever were involved in these things, spy activity, all the trafficking things, and putting fire on the flame on the, what you call, oil on the flame, in creating internal rift in the country, they were all shunted out. Just for your information,
Exactly. Exactly.
they chose who will stay and who will go.
Yeah. So now let's talk about how this is going to impact, the first of all the economy, the relationships, and all that stuff. Okay. So a couple of things. Number one, with Melanie Jolie herself admitting that the 41 diplomats have left India. Number one. Number two, now they're extremely short-staffed because two-thirds of their diplomats have been evicted, and now it's only one-third that are operating the mission or missions, I should say, in India, and they have diplomatic offices in Chandigarh, Mumbai, Bangalore, and New Delhi. So they're only going to be keeping the New Delhi fully operational, and all in-person services in Chandigarh, Mumbai, and
Like
Bangalore.
you exactly said, they will bring everything to New Delhi. Not, they don't
Exactly.
want to
That's
leave
another
these
thing
guys outside of Delhi.
exactly. That was another thing that we had predicted as well, right? So now what is going to happen is my feeling is if this continues, the Chandigarh, Mumbai, and Bangalore offices will close down, starting with Chandigarh, because Chandigarh actually gets the most number of applicants, and maybe they'll start off with Bangalore, maybe they'll start off with Mumbai, but eventually all three offices will close down if this continues. Okay, if nothing is done about this, and then guess what's going to happen? This is going to impact the number of applicants, and whoever wants to come to Canada, their applications will be on hold and in limbo, because it cannot be processed within the time frame that these people come with, right? Because I'm like, the thing is, I wouldn't apply for a student visa a year or 2 years in advance. You understand that, right? Because a university or a college has to give me a letter of offer, and that letter of offer comes in about maybe 2 months, maybe 3 months before the university starts. So let's say the university starts in September. Okay. So typically the university send out those letters of acceptance in May, June, July, somewhere around that time, right? And then they have to go and apply for the visa. Just about 2 months. They have about literally 8 to 12 weeks before applying for the visa, student visa, and get that. But now,
Right.
look at what's going to happen. It's humanly impossible to process these applications in 8 weeks or 12 weeks. Okay. I mean, even before, like, these guys.
Is that what India wanted? Let's be honest with it. Honest here, okay?
That's exactly what India wanted, because you know what? You cannot, if you cannot hurt some country militarily, because obviously we don't share borders with Canada. India doesn't share borders with Canada, and then India doesn't have any bases or anything in the US or anywhere in the Atlantic or Pacific Ocean. So obviously there's a huge gap there, geographical gap. So the only way they can hurt Canada is economically. Okay.
Right.
So India, that's why this is a fantastic path, because the Canadian educational system, the universities and college, depend on Indian students, and it's a $30 billion industry. 30 billion.
And also, absolutely, Vinay, I want to give you one more perspective here. It's not about only hurting Canada economically, it is protecting your own children. You see how many students here are going into drugs. We went in detail on the depression and how the suicide rate of the Indian students are up in Canada. Hate crimes against them are up. Don't you think it is hurting is one thing? Okay, let's keep it aside. Is that not the responsibility of a country to protect their citizens?
Absolutely, because you know what? There were time and again, Indian government have reached out to Canada. Time and again, they've told Canadian government, like, look, number one, the students who are coming from India are not getting proper education, because the colleges many of them are fictitious colleges, many of them are fake colleges, many of them are colleges that don't have any proper standards. I mean, there are colleges that run out of a small room in a plaza, and I have seen it here. Okay.
Yeah, you have covered that in our this thing regarding this.
Exactly, we've done it in the past. And these are the kind of institutions that, people come here thinking Canada, oh my God, it's a developed country and whatever, right? But they come here and they're shocked to see that they're attending a college that's running out of a small room in a plaza. Okay. And then they come here and they're unable to sustain, because especially in the last year or so, the cost of living has gone up so much that they are unable.
Thank you, Mr. Trudeau.
Exactly. Thanks to Mr. Trudeau. Yeah. And because of the inflation, the cost of renting and everything, right? And international students pay almost 3 to 4 times the fees that what a domestic student pays, and all for what? And then they go to colleges that is 100% Indian students. Okay, they assume that they're coming to Canada, it'll have a mix of Caucasian and the Afro-American, Afro-Canadian, and Canadian Chinese and whatever. But it's not. It's like 100% mix. Strictly students from India and
in a minute, if you can cover about how it will you said it will economically hurt Canada. If you can just say in a minute, what kind of contribution India was doing to Canada, and what does it mean to Canada this
Yeah, I
time?
mean, like I'm just talking about it, right? I mean, the students, like the number of students that were coming into Canada was huge. I mean, you probably heard the other day, Conestoga College president, he said that if the Indian students stop coming, we will have to shut down some of our departments in the colleges, in our college. This is exactly what he
Yes,
said,
many
because
colleges has to shut down.
many colleges have to shut down 100%, and colleges like Humber, Conestoga, Seneca, and those ones will sustain because they have domestic students as well, but it'll hurt them huge, to the bottom line. So this is what it is, Colin, when I say economically, right? And Canada, I mean, did not heed the warning. They kind of tried to say, guys, you got to get your act together. And then they also said that Canada is also grooming these students who are coming, because not Canada directly, but pro Khalistani NDP and pro Khalistani
Gurudwaras, basically, yeah.
Gurudwaras, and all these are grooming these students to join the Khalistani force, to participate in these referendums, and blah blah blah. But unfortunately, the Canadian government didn't understand when these warnings came that you guys have to do something, get your act together. But Canada didn't listen, and so now it's all happening one after the other. So, and I'm pretty sure we already are in trouble, because India has already put a hold on any Canadians getting a visa to India. So there's no more visa services. And this is unfortunate, because a lot of my friends I know that who are wanting to travel to India, they are unable to travel because they don't have the visa. So, and this is going to affect, but does it affect India economically? Canada is hardly contributing 0.0000001% to Indian economy. Okay, whereas India is probably contributing a lot more to Canadian economy. Keep that in mind.
Yeah, and see here, this is from the Canadian politician, liberal politician Ruby Sahota. She says this week Indian government took a unreasonably escalatory step by expelling Canadian diplomats. She used the right word though, expelling. Because many of them are saying withdrawn, this, that. You know what I mean? Yeah, expelling Canadian diplomats and staff. The threat to remove the diplomatic immunity by Friday would have been made it unsafe for the diplomats to stay. This is violation of the international law. International law.
What does Ruby Sahota know? Oh my God, Ruby Sahota, please go and study the Vienna Convention or Geneva Convention.
No, please go and study first.
Yeah, please go and study. Okay, do your homework before you understand. I mean, make these kind of comments. Just because you're an MP doesn't mean, nothing.
Anyway, so it's unbelievable. And I have a good news. Let's finish the video with a good news. Okay, let's finish it with a good news. If you are watching this video, friends, and if you want to come to Canada, I have a good news for you. You know what? The time will change. As far as I spoke to my internal sources in India, what I have been told was the animosity and the hate shown by the Justin Trudeau government towards India is what the reason for these things. And Modi government is very sure in separating Justin Trudeau and Canada. Yeah, means it's not the action against Canada, but against Justin Trudeau government. And as soon as the government changes, again everything will be normal. That's what I have been told.
Yeah, exactly. And I just want to add one last thing. I just read about this professor by the name Nelson Wiseman, a political scientist at the University of Toronto. And he is again sitting on his high horse, and he's saying that there would be no point in Canada retaliating over India's latest move, because the expulsions of the Canadian diplomats reveal the thin skin of the Indians. It suggests that they know they are complicit in the murder of a Canadian in Canada, and they're trying to deflect attention from their lack of cooperation with Canada in the investigation of the murder. Please, for heaven's sake, Mr. Wiseman, get your act together. I mean, come on, do some homework. Just don't make some arbitrary, statements, because you're obviously funded by the Canadian government or the Liberals, and that's the reason you want to keep them happy and by making such arbitrary statements. Do your homework.
Absolutely, absolutely. And but I have some good news for Weissman. You are not by yourself. You have Toronto Star with you, CBC with you, a lot of your buddies with you. So good try. Thank you, Vinayji. See you again. And big move by Modi government, and big kick on the face of Justin Trudeau is what I believe. What do you think? Please comment, share your opinion, comment your feedback, and also share the video with as many people and bring awareness. Thank you. Jai Shri Krishna. Jai